Good afternoon. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. I hope you're getting notifications. It is Wednesday, the 22nd of September, 2021, and I'm Mary Grace, and we're live. This is Real Talk with Mary Grace. Looks like we have some people coming in. So, welcome. Come on into the show and say hello when you get here. Let's see, just got to send a text. Okay. Wow, look at all these people that popped in. All right, so it looks like is Facebook live? Do we have anybody on Facebook? I see a lot of YouTube people. Anybody live on Facebook? Let's see. I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, Clout Hub, and over on Twitter. That's Real Mary Grace 1. There we go. There's somebody on Facebook. Excellent. All right. Good to see you people. Now, if you're on Facebook, if you're liking the content, please tag people and share this into groups. And then also follow the page, like the page and follow the page. Don't just like the show. And that would be awesome. And then same thing on YouTube. Like the show, give the show a thumbs up, but make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss another episode. And just so you know my schedule, I used to have kind of a regular schedule, which was 3 days a week at 5:30 in the evening, Eastern. But I've got some work going on at the house. I have a contractor who comes sort of after hours, and it's just not working with that schedule. So I'm going on when I can during the day, and hopefully that is acceptable. And if you come back on the replay, please leave a comment and let me know that you watch the replay, and just comment on the show and the content. That really helps as well. So Real Talk with Mary Grace, I am here. I'm also on marygracemedia.com, and you can reach me through the website if you need to. The other thing I wanted to mention too is don't forget that we're in a crazy situation in our nation, and I wanted to just make sure people know that it's more important now than ever to be mindful about what you're eating, what your diet is, and really taking proactive care of your health. One way that you can do that is with superfoods, which I have a promo code where you can save over $100 off of a 30-day supply. That's 60 meals, and it is shelf stable. So if you're looking to save some food, put some things away for if there are shortages, that's a good thing to do too. So please message me, info@marygracemedia.com. I'll send you the information about that. That is what I use. It's also great for traveling. It's extremely portable and easy to travel with. All right. So let's jump into some content today. I wanted to tell you about something that I've been listening to this morning. I've been talking a lot about health, the health stuff that's been happening, and there's one thing in particular that I want to tell you about. This is a video that I've been listening to. It's a discussion that is taking place between some physicians and attorneys with the uh, FLCCC group. So that's Dr. Pierre Corey, and so I want to talk about the health issues that people are facing right now, and I want to give you some resources. And this particular video that I've been listening to, it was a Zoom call they did last week. This is really helpful if you are a provider, or if you are a pharmacist, a provider, a nurse practitioner, a doctor, an NP, a PA, anybody that is in a situation where you're being pressured not to prescribe certain medications and you're being threatened with board action and things like that. This is an incredible video with very practical information and steps that is going to help you have a defense and to be able to stand on your ethical uh, principles and to prioritize ethics over fear. And unfortunately, we have seen a lot of crazy behavior from physicians, from hospitals, because a lot of, in many cases, they're being threatened. They are afraid of losing their licenses. They're afraid of being brought before a medical board. And this video that I've been listening to this morning, this afternoon, has been an incredible resource that physicians and providers and pharmacists can access. So I want to, let me get to this website. Where did it go? Did I lose it? I keep losing the link. Hold on a second. I just closed the link by accident. Let me just go back to where I can find it. Okay. Give me a second. It was on a different site. It wasn't on FLCCC. So, all right, come on. Give me a second. Apologize. I had it pulled up here and then I closed it by mistake. I had to take it in a roundabout way. Let me find it. I can find it again. And then I have a situation. We have a situation in Arizona that is maybe going to need some help from some of you. Oh, let me find this. Here we go. Where is this video? All right, so it's the FLCCC weekly update, and they put their video up on something called odyssey.com, ODYSEE. So it's a video platform. It's from the 16th of September 2021. This is what it looks like, okay? That's the title. You can take a screenshot, okay? And that's the URL, odyssey.com. So this may be linked on their website, but I've just been finding it through, it was on somebody's Telegram page, and I've been listening to it. So it's FLCCC weekly update for September 15th, 2021. The title is Pharmageddon Unleashed on Ivermectin. And it's fascinating because the things that, hey, Mary, so the things that are happening right now are, straight out of communism. The fact that a doctor is not only uncomfortable but is afraid to prescribe a medication off label for an FDA approved medication off label for something that does not have that the hospitals and the doctors do not have a successful protocol for is quite frankly alarming, because it is not uncommon, and it has been standard practice for years, for decades, for doctors to prescribe off-label a medication that they think would be suitable for another application. A prime example of that is when young girls have cystic acne, they are prescribed birth control pills, not because they're sexually active, but because they have cystic acne. That is an example of a off-label prescription for an approved medication. It's approved for one use. It's prescribed off-label for something else. This is done every single day in the medical profession, and pharmacists fill those prescriptions every single day. And so that's important to know. Another point that they made is this. They said somebody in the comments said CVS and Walgreens refused to fill ivermectin and HCQ. Now, this is very interesting that you bring that up, because they bring it up in the video. They say that if you are in a situation where you go to a pharmacy and they tell you that they cannot prescribe this, that it's company policy, it actually is not company policy. And in fact, you need to document the store location and the name of the pharmacist who is telling you that, and you need to report it to customer care or customer service at the corporate level. And because the customer service department will want to know that. This is what Dr. Corey is saying. It is in many cases just a fear thing, or misinformation, or lack of understanding. And so if you go to a pharmacist, uh, if you go to a pharmacist and they tell you that it's company policy not to fill it, this video gives you the workaround. So you have to take the time to listen to the workarounds. I believe he said that they were going to post a sheet, like a fact sheet, on the website that you can reference. And there's a set of questions that you can reference when you're at a pharmacy. So, for example, you can ask them specifically, is this a company policy? Is it a corporate policy? And are you aware, is your customer service department, is your corporate service department aware of this policy? Are they directing you to treat patients this way? And so there's this is these pharmacists need to be put on notice, because the other thing they're doing is they're practicing medicine without a license, and in most states that is highly illegal for anyone to practice medicine without a license. Anyway, I urge you to go and listen to this video. I will send it to Delia so she can link it in the show notes on YouTube. We put these show notes on YouTube. They tend to stay up, so that's good. We don't put them on Fascist Book for obvious reasons. So make sure that you access that, listen to it, go and get the sheet that you can use to reference when you go to these pharmacies, because Dr. Corey is saying that he actually believes that the more pressure we put on these local pharmacies, not the mom and pop pharmacies, but the local branches of the corporate pharmacies, the more pressure the customers put, and the more these local branches realize that they're going to be reported to corporate, uh, the more compliant they're going to be, and the more willing they're going to be to fill the customer's needs. So he walks you through what to do if they say they can't fill it, that it's a policy, that they're out, that there's a shortage. That's a lie. There's not a shortage of ivermectin in America. There's not a shortage anywhere. It's widely available. They're just not filling it. He even tells you the name of a pharmacy supplier that will get it to your pharmacy within 24 hours. So, in other words, you come back to them with solutions politely. You say, "Okay, listen, is this a corporate policy? Are you doing this based on your own beliefs?" Or is this a corporate policy? Because I think that your customer service department at corporate would want to know if you're quoting policies that are not actually corporate policy. In other words, are you telling me the truth? And the thing is, I think that it's becoming more obvious that as people, as consumers, as citizens, it is incumbent upon you to take a stand and to push back. You can push back firmly and politely. You can be pleasantly persistent. And that is what is required here. And for those of you who don't want to stick your neck out, who are afraid of being singled out, that you don't want to feel uncomfortable. People, we're beyond that point. People's lives are on the line here, because pharmacists and hospitals are actually refusing medication that has been proven to save lives. And this is another thing that, if you still have pushback, if it were me, I would say, well, I'm taking your name and your store number, and I want you to know that I will hold you liable if something happens to me or my loved one, because you're practicing medicine without a license. You're lying to me, and your actions are potentially putting me and my loved ones in danger. And if you're willing to take that risk of being hit with a massive lawsuit, then that's up to you. But I want you to know that I will take steps to have you charged and prosecuted for doing what you're doing right now. If it comes to that, that's what I would do. Now, I can't. I can't tell you what to do. I'm telling you that there is good advice out there, and I'm telling you what I would do. And I'm also exhorting you as a human being, as an American or whatever country you're in, to understand that um, this is a human rights issue right now, that we are dealing with human rights violations. And we're in serious territory here. And so you no longer have the luxury of of not speaking up because you don't want to feel uncomfortable. Do you see where I'm going here? Because so many people complied with the face mask because they didn't want to be singled out and they didn't want to feel uncomfortable. And that was the first step in letting them know that you could be controlled. I hate to say I told you so, but who was it that was shouting from the rooftops and had people telling me that I was going overboard and that I was being a little bit dramatic in my stance on that? Guys, I hope that you understand by now that I see things, that Holy Spirit gives me downloads, that I'm a forerunner when it comes to the truth. I see ahead what is coming. And when I tell you things like this, it's not to say I told you so. It's not because I want to be right. It's because I'm being obedient to the Lord who is giving me things to tell you. I told you 2 weeks ago, maybe it was 3 now, that by the end of the week, pharmacies would be refusing to fill these prescriptions and that they would tell you they were out because the FDA and the American Mafia Association would be telling them and threatening them not to fill these prescriptions. Did I not tell you that? And by the end of the week, I went to a pharmacy and got it on recording. I got a pharmacist telling me, reading to me from a pharmacy board that they were being strongly urged not to fill any prescriptions for any treatment for COVID. Now, here's the thing. Up until this insanity of COVID, a pharmacist would never, ever even think to ask what a prescription was for. It's none of their business. All their job is to get the prescription from the doctor, to fill the prescription. Only in a case where the pharmacist thinks that the doctor may have made a mistake would they then pick up the phone and say to the doctor, "Hey, I noticed that you prescribed X for Y, and I just wanted to make sure that the dosage is right because, every time I've seen this prescription come through, it's in this dosage, and I just wanted to know if you're on the right. I just wanted to make sure that this is what you intended." Every now and then that would be the case. Okay. What we are seeing now is so far outside of the bounds of ethics for a pharmacist. It's ridiculous. They should never ask you, the patient, what the medication is for. It's none of their business. They should never interfere with a doctor's legitimate prescription. Now, if you have a prescription paper that looks like that you bought it in a back alley somewhere and that it was a fake signature and like a photocopied prescription pad, you understand what I'm saying. If it looks suspect to them, the actual prescription, then, as a professional, they be within their purview to question it. That's rare. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody that that like made up their own prescription? Most people don't do that unless they're trying to get opioids. Ivermectin is the furthest thing from an opioid you can imagine. It has been prescribed it's been given to over 4 billion individuals around the globe safely for 40 years. Person who discovered ivermectin won the Nobel Prize in 2015. Okay, so you have to understand what's going on here. The people who work in these pharmacies and the healthcare providers, They are being bullied. They're being bullied. They're being threatened with their licensing. They are they're making decisions out of fear. And at this point, it is incumbent upon you, the consumer, the patient, the American who has rights, the Canadian who has rights, the world citizen who has human rights. It's incumbent upon you that you help them to understand that they have more to fear than their board, than their licensing, than the people that are bullying them, because are your rights trump the bullying that they're getting. I want people to understand this. And anybody that ridicules you for standing up for your rights can go pound sand, because the creator of all humanity has endowed every single one of us with certain unalienable rights. Those are the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so if you have anyone laughing at you or ridiculing you for standing up for your rights, they can go pound sand, because they don't know what they're talking about. This is the one fundamental right and foundation of what this nation was founded on. You can tell I'm pretty hot about this topic because this is ridiculous what is happening right now. I got an email yesterday from one of my listeners and who told me that she knows a father of 3 who's been in the hospital on a ventilator for 16 days, and for 16 days, and the wife is not allowed to see him. They are refusing to give him the protocol that they're requesting because it's not in their protocol. That's what they're saying. So this father of 3 is in critical condition. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a husband. Okay, so he is on day 20 of being on a ventilator against the family's wishes. And this is in Phoenix. I want you guys to know this. If there's anyone in Phoenix, any attorneys who can help us with this, anybody that has any pull in the medical community there, this man, his name is Matt Severson, and his wife's name is Shannon. So they need our prayers. They have 3 teenage children, ages 13 to 19, who their father is on a ventilator. He has diabetes. Okay. Matt has been back on his stomach since yesterday. This is from the wife. He's oxygenating better, but the CO2 in his blood is building, which is bad. And other respiration indicators are trending poorly. His temperature is also hanging around, not super high, but just won't go away. The infectious disease doctor will see him soon, and they'll be working to find some solutions. Keeping him prone will probably help. They just don't like it to be so prolonged. This is what's happening. 20 days on a respirator, a man who has 3 children, whose wife is asking for him to be administered different medications. So I haven't even reached out to my sources yet, because this is new information for me, where this is one of those situations where we are going to need to try to intervene. One of the things that I've seen mentioned, and this is something that I want people to help me research, is the patient's Bill of Rights. I was looking it up just before we talked here. Let me see if I can find it. I believe that is something that basically it gives the patient full autonomy in their treatment. And that is something that hospitals have completely ignored and just thrown out. They've thrown the medical community has thrown out every single formerly guaranteed right. I've seen this with my family, with my dad, with the ADA law. Nobody cares anymore about what happens to a disabled person because COVID. Nobody cares anymore what happens with the Bill of Rights, with the patient Bill of Rights, because COVID. It's like they've just thrown all of that out the window. And one of the things that Dr. Why am I forgetting his name? The FLCCC doctor, I just said it a minute ago, Dr. Pierre, that doctor with a K. One of the things he's saying is that any institution that is refusing to administer these protocols is he's advising them to walk back right now these decisions, because it's going to be a very long road for institutions that are going to be sued for malpractice by these families for refusing to go by the family's wishes, for refusing to abide by the patient bill of rights. And it is not going to be a pretty situation for these hospitals and for the people who are making these decisions. And it's time for these people to understand that they are going to be subject to civil penalties, and I believe in many cases criminal, because knowing what you could have done and refusing to do it, that's a criminal liability. Okay. Um, so yeah. All right. Let me see. Somebody posted a link in Facebook. Angel. We discourage links in the chat because it actually affects my the algorithm, especially in Facebook. They hate links. So if you could remove that link, I would appreciate it. Okay, Delia has put a call out for a lawyer in her local AZ group. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, so Angel, if you could delete that link, I appreciate it. I know that you mean well. We just get a lot of censorship when there's links, and then nobody can see my show. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Now, if there's a way to put a link where you can break it up and you can write out the .com part, so blah 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 space dot space com, that's okay. But if it's a clickable link, the fascists at Socialist Media hate it. All right. Sorry, that's just what we've found. Okay. Now, Delia, thank you for putting that out. If there's anybody else that can help this family, I don't know the name of the hospital. Hold on a second. Let me see. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Now, Ann Vandersteel did a segment on her show, and there's a candlelight vigil that's being done for a man in New Hampshire, a veteran Army Ranger, I think a Ranger in New Hampshire, who is in a similar situation. The Millie is saying this man was actually his whole face was bruised because it's very clear that he fought the ventilator. He's on a ventilator. The wife and the husband both refused remdesivir, and the hospital went against their wishes. And so this is, I don't know the current standing with him, but this is what we're dealing with. Now, all of that being said, um, all that being said, um, we know that remdesivir causes kidney failure. If you don't know that, you need to know that. Dr. Brian Ardis, Ardis, has gone into extensive explanation of this. He has documentation of this, and believe it or not, the person who knows the most about this is the sociopath who's now the medical advisor for COVID, for the faker in chief. And he has a financial interest in that medication. And so he's been pushing it from the very beginning. It was proven during the Ebola crisis to cause kidney damage. The patients have their kidneys cease to function, and they're either put on dialysis or the fluids start to back up into their abdominal cavity, and they end up with pulmonary edema, which is mistaken or misdiagnosed as pneumonia. Those things are treated differently. When you have fluid in the lungs, my understanding is that it has to be drained. With pneumonia, there's a different mechanism for clearing the lungs. I'm not a doctor, but from what I remember, from listening to Dr. Brian Artis, there's two different mechanisms for dealing with those two very different diagnoses. Patients are being diagnosed with something called COVID pneumonia when in fact they are having pulmonary edema from being treated with remdesivir. Remdesivir does not work. It does not have efficacy in curing patients of this. Now, the other thing that we're seeing, and we're continuing to see this, is that if somebody gets diagnosed, they're being told, just go home and drink fluids and maybe take Tylenol, which is really not a safe drug, by the way. If you take Tylenol a lot, you need to reconsider that because it's very toxic to the liver. But I digress. They're being told to take Tylenol, drink liquids, and then if it gets really bad, come to the ER. Now think about this, guys. When in history have doctors sent patients home and told them, when you get so sick that you have to come to the ER, then we will treat you? This is just such a this is such a travesty. It's crime. It's crimes against humanity. There's no other way to phrase this. It's crimes against humanity. Yeah. So Sandra has a friend that's 3 weeks on a ventilator. Yeah, we've got to get these patients off of the ventilators. Okay, I can't stress this enough. If you get what you think is COVID, if this happens in my family, I'm going to tell you what I would do. You make your own decision. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not practicing medicine. I am not giving medical advice. What I am saying to you is that if anybody in my family, anybody that I'm responsible for gets what I think is COVID, if I feel the need to go to the doctor, I would go to a clinic. I would not go to the emergency room where they could admit and take the person out of my sight. I would not let the person out of my sight. I would insist that I be with them every minute for everything, whether it's an x-ray, a blood test, whatever, okay? I would go to a med first clinic, one of those, not a hospital. I would ask for a flu test first. This is what I would do. I would not ask for a COVID test because remember, once upon a time, 2 years ago, when anybody had respiratory symptoms, they would ask for a flu test. Have we forgotten about that? That's a viable test. Okay, that would be the first thing that I would do. So that would be the first thing I could do. Now, Kathy on YouTube is saying you should be allowed to refuse treatment or admittance. Kathy, that was pre-COVID. That was pre-communism in our medical care. Right now, all bets are off. The gloves are off. They are treating patients like they're property. They're not treating patients like patients, customers, clients, people with rights. That is what we're seeing. Now, there may be hospitals that are using a protocol that can help a patient. I believe that they are few and far between. And so what I'm saying to you and what Dr. Corey is saying with FLCCC is that it's really important to have a plan. And our plan is that we have a kit of the medications that we might need in case the symptoms start, including therapeutics and nutraceuticals. What is a nutraceutical? It is something that's not a prescription. It is usually based in regenerative or alternative medicine. So vitamin C, amino acids, vitamin D, those things, those are nutraceuticals. All right. They're usually plant derived from nature. And if you look at the protocol that is indicated on flccc.net or from Dr. Zelenko, those protocols use those as well. Okay, so going back to what I would do for my family. In my family, with my loved ones, I would lay down in front of the ambulance before I would let my family member be taken to a hospital. I would I would be arrested before I would let a family member be admitted to the hospital with COVID. That's me. I would fight tooth and nail. I would call the police on the hospital staff before I would let my family member be admitted to the hospital. All right, so that's me. Um, what I would do is I would schedule an urgent telemedicine visit with one of the recommended doctors from flccc.net. Um, that's what I would do. I would also immediately administer ivermectin, and I would immediately administer the first dose of either doxycycline or Z-Pak, and I would immediately administer the nutraceuticals that are on the list. Okay, that's me. Again, I'm not a doctor. I am not giving medical advice. I'm not taking responsibility for your medical decisions. I'm telling you what I would do for my family. And some people are asking what are alternatives to Tylenol. So Tylenol is very toxic to the liver. It is. My grandfather was a chemist. He had a doctorate in chemistry, and I remember when I was younger, when Tylenol was released for over-the-counter use, he said this is going to be bad. He said because he said acetaminophen is very dangerous. It's highly toxic to the liver, and people are going to overdose on it. People can overdose on Tylenol like in seconds, especially if you're drinking alcohol. Kids overdose on Tylenol. That's one thing they use. That's one thing. One of the things people use to commit suicide is Tylenol, and so that's important for people to understand. That is not a safe medication. Um, and ibuprofen is just a step up from that. What I use, I use what do you call it? Arnica. You can get little dissolvable tablets. Hylands makes it, Hylands, if you're having pain. Now, one of the things that's indicated in the case of COVID is an aspirin, because as we know, one of the problems with this sickness is spike proteins that cause blood clots. And so the aspirin is an effective blood thinner. That is what the doctors who are treating this successfully are telling us. Again, I want to be very clear. I'm not giving medical advice, and I'm telling you what I've been reading and what I would do for my family. So let's just be very clear about that in case somebody shows up in my feed and wants to troll me or accuse me of doing anything illegal. Okay. Now, Millie is saying, Millie's saying something that I think is important, and I'm going to let you guys read her comment in YouTube. Okay. One of the things I mentioned yesterday that I have heard is one of the things that I have heard is melatonin can be a powerful anti-inflammatory. Curcumin can also be a very powerful anti-inflammatory, and also so melatonin. What's the other one? Curcumin. What's the other one? Okay. Millie says Dr. Peter McCullough's protocol is very comprehensive. Get what you can. Oh, okay. So the one thing I mentioned the other day is a nasal spray. Okay, bromelain is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. You can get quercetin capsules with bromelain combined. Quercetin is what you get if you cannot get hydroxychloroquine prescription. You can get quercetin. Okay. Now, I wanted to say there's a nasal spray that is pure budesonide. It is called Rhinocort. I showed it on the show the other day. Rhinocort. It's available over the counter. Turmeric. Yeah. Okay. Somebody in Facebook said turmeric. I think, yeah, curcumin and turmeric, they're of the same derivation. That's the word I was trying to think of, though, was turmeric. Thank you. The hospital in Arizona is Honor Health John C. Lincoln. That is where the patient is that I mentioned earlier. All right. Okay. So Vicky on YouTube is saying that she added the over-the-counter nasal spray for that I mentioned the other day, Rhinocort. You can, hopefully there's a generic out there. I would go buy it. Like, go out to CVS, Walmart, wherever you go, and buy this and keep it in your house. Jeff on Facebook is saying ivermectin for horses. Yeah. So I'll tell you what I did to get the horse liquid is I went to a farm store and I walked in and I said, I'm just looking for horse warmer. And I'm in a horsey area and I look like a horsey person. So it was pretty logical that I would be doing that. But, you know, just when you go in, when you go in, to those stores, just ask for horse warmer. Don't go in and say, yeah, I need ivermectin. I gotta have it for COVID. Like, just be low key, guys. All right. All right. Somebody said, be careful about doubling up on blood thinners. Yeah, that's true. Tart cherry juice is very good for inflammation, and it's an antioxidant. We actually have that in my superfood store. It's organic. It's very, very good because it has a naturally occurring melatonin in it. I think that's why it's good for anti-inflammatory. Okay, Jeff got 2 boxes of the paste. Yeah. So here's the thing. You might have to go around, shop around. You might have to go to an off the path store because, you know, the main store that people have been talking about for the farm supplies is very corporate, and they have big signs up that say, you know, it's not for use in humans because they're trying to cover their butts. Okay. So just keep that in mind. What does a horsey person look like? Well, in my area, pretty much me. You know, there's a lot of women who have horses. That's a good question. You know, who drive an SUV, who come into the store, you know, except I didn't have jodhpurs on. So, but it's just one of those things. Yeah. So I'm in horse country. And so if I walk into a store and ask for horse warmer, nobody thinks twice. I'm just saying some of you guys might not look the part, but that's okay. You can just go in and say, hey, I'm looking for horse warmer. In my area, it was easy to do. All right, so Kathy on YouTube says, I take vitamin C, D, zinc, quercetin, and turmeric every day. The price of the paste has gone up. Yeah, of course it is. So here's the thing, guys. The thing is, some stores are asking for a picture of you with your horse. That's insane. Go to a different store. Yeah. So Karen on Facebook is saying that they went to push. Yeah. So what a lot of people are doing is they're going on the flccc.net website, and there's a whole link there to different practices that will do a telemedicine appointment and that will write a prescription. Okay. And they know which pharmacies will get it to you. Now, I will say that the price of that has gone up. The price of ivermectin has gone up a lot. So, you know, everybody has to make their own decision. If you're in a position that you can afford to stock up and have it on hand for people who might need it, then, you know, consider that. That might be a way that you are that you're fighting this fight. That might be something that is a way for you to steward your resources and to be a help to others. Um, that is that is just that's your decision. So pray about that. You know, you may be just getting the Lord may be asking you to be a resource for other people if you can afford to do that. Okay, because there are people who can't afford right now to pay uh, um, $12 a pill for ivermectin for their dosage, $15 a pill. Because, you know, one of the things I've seen is that it's like it typically comes in a 3 milligram dose. Well, it takes about 10 milligrams per 100 pounds, or in the liquid form, 10 mil per 100 pounds. I don't know how many cc's that is. Is it 5 cc's? Um, yeah. So yeah. So there's a store that a friend of mine was at, a pharmacy, and they paid uh, how much? They paid $140 for 20 ivermectin, 3 milligram each. So for somebody that weighs 120 pounds, that's going to be 4 pills. So think about that. That's 5 days worth if you get sick. All right. So just keep that in mind. Now, what was I going to tell you guys with the liquid? What was that with the liquid? The overdose. I had something in mind, and that was based on one of your comments. What was it? It'll come back to me. Let me just look at the comments here. The dosage goes by weight. Yeah. The drugstore that will dispense. Okay. What's the conversion for the horse liquid? All right. Karen is saying $65 at push. What does that mean? Is that for the consultation? $65. Yeah, I think the dosage, the dosage is like the risk of overdose is not high. Okay. Somebody was saying that for the liquid, you put it on your forearm. So that's something that I would consider as well. So you can drink it, but one of the things that people should know is that, oh, I know what I was going to say. All right, this part of your arm right here is highly absorbent. And so I had an experience with my late father when he was really sick. We got a medication that that we put right on his wrist, and it took effect like immediately. And so those of you who have loved ones who are in the hospital, if there's a way, um, if it were me, if there were a way that I could get to my loved one, believe I tell you what, I would find a way to get to my loved one. I mean, there's ways to get into hospitals. I'm just saying, if it were me, I would find a way to get in there, and I would have the liquid ready to put in their wrist, to put on the inside of their wrist. That's what I would do if I could not if I could not get it into their IV. That's another thing I would do. I would be ready to have a syringe with that I could put into an IV. That's what I would do, guys, at risk of being thrown out or arrested, because my loved one's life would be on the line. Okay, I'm not telling you what to do. That's what I would do. All right. Now the dosage, I believe, if you do have it, is I I would say minimum 10 milligrams per 100 pounds of weight. Vicky, disguise it in a perfume bottle. Yeah. The liquid form for the forearm. So we're talking about the one that's available for horses. Yeah. So the question is, it's a bottle that looks like this. I'll show you. It says for cattle, swine, horses, it says right on the bottle 100% ivermectin. Okay, let me show you. And so this was on the shelf in the store that I went to. Okay. See where it says 50 mil? Now see, that's for a big animal. And usually I think they give it in like in one dose. All right. So you're talking 1 mil per 100 pounds of a human. All right. No needle on CCS plastic syringe. I don't know what that means. When Pat Cox, I don't think the drench is the same thing. This is what you inject into the animal. Donna is asking if you could do a paste on the forearm. If you're at that point, if it were me, I would try it. Yeah, I don't see why not, because the medication that we gave my father was in a cream. And so, you just rubbed it on the forearm and it absorbed. Okay. And so, yeah. So, let's see. I actually got a syringe with a needle. Sorry, guys. I got a syringe with a needle, and it was right there on the shelf. Some of the places, I think they just leave it out, depending on where you are. Now, in some places, this is in a locked cabinet. All right. And you just go up to them and say, hey, I need to get into your pharmacy case. And again, you just walk in like a boss, right? You don't be, there's no time to be shy. Okay. So Madeline says you can put the paste on a cracker and eat it. I think we're talking about a situation where the patient can't do it for themselves. Millie said some places it's in a fridge. So you walk. So if it were me, I walk in. I'm like, hey, I need horse warmer, or hey, I need to get in your pharmacy case. And then you walk up and you grab what you need. You don't ask them. Okay. So, are there really that many cases? David says, what about the 99% survival rate? Oh, do we have a troll, or is that a legit question? We're dealing with people who are being put in hospitals and who are being treated with remdesivir against their will. And so, so people are coming down with it. Yeah. Yeah. And, even like, yeah, in the past 3 weeks, we've heard of 3 different people dying at the hands of medical staff who refused to let their family, who refused to give them the medication that their family needed. Can somebody just help me figure out who that person is in YouTube? Because I don't know. All right. Oh, Miss Olson is in Northern Virginia. Okay, so are you up in Loudoun County area? More horse country, the plains. I drove through there when I go to DC. Okay. Okay, David, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, so we're dealing with some very severe cases right now, and we're trying to help people prevent getting whatever new variant is going around. A lot of I actually believe that that a lot of the cases that are coming up now are actually from the shot. I believe that those people are actually. I believe that, well, a lot of people are getting it. A lot of people who got the shot are getting it, and then they're spreading it, right? And so a lot of people, Delia is not going to go into detail on these notes. That's fine. I'm going to send you that video though, Delia, so we can put that on the show notes, or I can just add it. So but the point is, we're trying to plan ahead. Um, uh, we're trying to plan ahead, basically. So my motto here is don't be scared, be prepared. And and that's what we're dealing with right now. We're trying to be proactive so that if one of us or a family member gets in a situation where you're facing medical tyranny, that's what it is right now, then you're able to intervene and help, or to help yourself. That's where we are in this scenario. Now, on a positive note, on a positive note, the a lot of people aren't getting it, and people who do get it are recovering. So that's good news, and we know that there's treatment. We know that there's recovery. We know that it's 99.9% recovery rate. The people that we're dealing with right now are people who are at high risk. The individual that we're talking about in Phoenix has diabetes, and so this is where we are right now. This is what we're dealing with, and uh, we we have to take care of those people, right? All of the recommendations and the insane lockdown stuff that is happening still uh, in um, in Australia and other places, we know that that's not meant to help the vulnerable. That's meant to control you. What we can do, what I believe we can do, and what we're seeing from Dr. Corey and the doctors at flccc.net and Dr. Zelenko and Dr. McCullough, is we can be proactive, and we can help people who we can help them by getting them in touch with these practitioners. We can locate practitioners in our area who are willing to use these protocols, and we can help people and ourselves by getting them on these protocols as quickly as possible. This is the message that we are getting from these doctors who have successfully treated people. Is it a 100% guaranteed cure? No, it's not. People do have complications. People have immune compromise. People have issues that we don't know and we can't control. But a combination of these of these proven techniques, proven practices, a combination of that with prayer and faith goes a long way to helping people avoid hospitalization and recover fully. Okay. All right. So I'm reading a comment here on YouTube. Looks like my order from All Day Chemist is on the way. I got the tracking info today. Okay, that's awesome. And that I know somebody else who ordered from them too. So we're going to keep track of that. Uh, One of the things about the All Day Chemist, that's the one that's overseas. Keep in mind that overseas pharmacies, many of them are able to dispense these medications without without a prescription. It's legal there. Okay. So you have to make a decision about whether you feel that you're breaking the law or not if you order these things without a prescription. Those pharmacies also have they have antibiotics without a prescription. Two of the recommended antibiotics are doxycycline and Z-Pak, which is azithromycin. And those things are available from those pharmacies that don't require prescriptions. So it's your decision about where you acquire those things. I'm just telling you the resources. I'm here to be a resource for you. I'm not here to be a doctor or a pharmacist or a nurse or anything like that. And but we do know people who have ordered those medications. We know people who have taken them, who have successfully used them. Dr. Corey knows of people who have gotten medications over the counter or from overseas pharmacies that were effective and safe. And so again, it's your decision, but but you but that's really up to you. I'm just giving you the resources, okay? And I'm trying to gather as much information as we can here. Let's see. Yeah, diabetes can make it tricky to deal with, that's for sure. Somebody, do you have to upload your ID on All Day Chemist? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, Pat is asking, breaking what law? Meds without scripts? Yeah. So, going against regulations or whatever by doing that. They may not feel right about that, but it's up to you. I mean, people order prescriptions from Canada all the time, right? So it's your choice. I'm just saying everybody has to make their own decision about this, and it's an incredibly fluid environment that we're in. There are a lot of ethical boundaries that have been crossed by the medical community. I'd say most ethical boundaries have been crossed, and because we are at war, there are things that people will do and decisions that people will make to save their loved ones that are outside the bounds of what you would consider normal ethical behavior. So just keep that in mind, right? And that's just something to consider. If you don't think we're at war, um, look at the casualties that we're seeing in the hospitals. The hospitals are killing patients. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They're killing patients because they're refusing to go outside of their protocol, which is literally not a protocol. It's two drugs. It's dexamethasone and remdesivir. That's it. That's all they've got. And they're saying that's their protocol. Okay, on Facebook, SLV is saying that no ID was necessary on All Day Chemist, payment by checking account. Yeah, there's so many crimes being committed by the medical community right now. I mean, I feel like when it comes to crimes against humanity, when it comes to Nuremberg trials, right? We are witnessing right now crimes against humanity. What's happening in this hospital in Phoenix with this man, this father of three, the refusal to do what his family is asking. These are crimes against humanity. I'm putting them on blast. What's the name of that hospital? The name of that hospital is Honor Health John C. Lincoln in Phoenix, Arizona. You're on blast. You are violating the patient bill of rights. You're violating the rights of this family, this wife who is asking that her husband be given these medications that doctors have used that are safe for off-label use. You are in violation of the patient's rights, and you're going to pay. There is going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be a reckoning for every single practitioner who is refusing care for patients and who is refusing the request of their loved ones and their advocates. There's no way out of this. There will be a reckoning. Now, I want to read comments up here. Oh yeah, Vicky was the one who told me about the Cattle Ranch YouTube channel. People in the comments say they just eat it straight from the tube, the ivermectin. Yeah. And here's the thing. People, there are some people on Telegram who like to think that they're know-it-alls. Some of them are named Brian Cates. And, last time I talked about this, he went on his channel. I tell you, all these people watch me. You might as well share my show if you're watching me, guys, because I know you watch me or you get reports of what I talk about on my show. You just don't share it because you don't agree with me on everything. That's fine. But if you're going to throw shade and criticize me for what I talk about, then at least give me attribution, Brian Cates. So he went on and had a big rant about the fact that people are talking about using agricultural ivermectin on themselves and talking about how, that makes us look bad. It makes us look wackadoodle. It makes us look crazy. It gives the left ammunition. You know what? They already have ammunition, and it's called withholding care. And so if we are at war and we're not able to get doctors to prescribe the medications that will save lives, then we have to do whatever we can to save lives. That's what happens when you're at war. So if you're going to lecture people about we're at war, act like it, then understand all of the implications of what's happening now. Because as I recall, Brian Cates is also somebody who gave people a hard time about not wanting to take the shot. And oh, hey, guess what? People are dying from that. Rant over. Okay. Let's see. The comments and the videos are a wealth of information. Vicky, what is the that YouTube channel? You told me about it and I looked at it. And here's the thing, when you go on videos like that, and even when you see a Telegram post, make sure you read the comments, either from the live video or from the or from the people who come after the fact. You understand that there's two comments on a lot of YouTube videos. If you click on live chat, those are the comments that happened during the live stream. And then there are comments that are put on after the fact. And so those of you who watch my replay, you can't comment on the live chat. But if you come after the fact, you can leave a comment. There are two different comment sections in YouTube videos. So make sure that you read all of those because you can get valuable information. Of course, use your discretion, right? I mean, some people are going to put stupid stuff in there. Robin on Facebook is saying, be sure to watch Dr. Artis' interview with Michelle Rotan. It is on Vocal. She discusses advocacy for family locked in hospitals. Very good midway through the show. Robin, can you send me that, please? Because we need that right now. We have a family member. We have a situation in Arizona where a man is being refused treatment and nobody in the family can even see him. If you can send me that, that would be great. I'm at info@marygracemedia.com. Okay. Yeah. At this point, they're just killing people. They're not even pretending not to kill people. That's what's happening. Now, again, I'm not being alarmist. I'm not trying to be doom and gloom here. This whole broadcast today is about practical solutions. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm about solutions. I want people to have tools at their disposal so that they can make decisions and take action and have solutions. That is what my purpose is here today. My purpose here isn't to make you afraid or panicked or to put you in a panic or anything like that. Now, if you get angry, I'm actually okay with that because people do need to get angry right now, because people have been extreme in this whole situation, and that's how we are in the fix we're in right now. Okay. And so, get angry and channel that anger into a useful, hold on a second, I want to copy this link, into useful action. All right, so Robin, is there any way that you can direct message me that link? We need to take it off of the Facebook feed because it'll suppress the feed. It will I can't click on it right now, Robin. Can you let me see if I can get on Facebook and see it. I have a hard time accessing comments on Facebook, even on my own page. So if you could actually send me that link, that would be better. Okay. Like I can't even, like when I go on Facebook to look at a link, to look at your comments, I can't even see them all. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at my Facebook feed right now, Robin, and I can't see your link. Isn't that crazy? That's what they do. All right, you just messaged it to me, so that's perfect. Yeah. So wherever you that's how bad Facebook is. That I can't see the link that you posted in the chat. Vocal is asking me to log in. I don't want to log in. Okay, we're going to check this out. All right. So thank you. Yeah, can you delete it from the chat? I got it from your direct message. That's great. The channel that Vicky is talking about, that she got information about ivermectin, Farm and Ranch Hacks. Okay, so it's on YouTube. All right. There we go. You can't find the push site. Oh, okay, Robin. Thank you for deleting it. Okay, I thought they deleted it already. Now, push. I think it's called Push Health. We're just chatting here at the end. Okay, push. Oh, pushhealth.com. Pushhealth.com. Now, I'm going to tell you a little trick that somebody is using to get a prescription of doxycycline from their doctor. Because again, this is one of the things that flccc.net recommends that you have on hand, or that people take if they get the COVID. Doxycycline. Doxycycline is for UTI, urinary tract infection. Women get UTIs a lot. And so a woman who wants to get a prescription of doxycycline may call her provider and describe symptoms and ask for a prescription with a refill of that medication. Again, people have to make their own decisions, but a person who wants to have that medication on hand and who wants to get it prescribed may, in fact, decide that they want to call their practitioner and ask if they can get a prescription for a UTI. That's up to the individual. That is somebody that I know is doing that. It's up to the individual. If people have kidney issues, doxycycline is a medication that is not metabolized through the kidneys. So that's just something to know. You can research all of this online, by the way. But that's just something that somebody that I know is doing. Okay? Think outside the box. Get creative with how you're going to amass your kit that you're going to have on hand. Okay? Now, do we have any more questions or comments? This is obviously the show that is focused on being prepared. Kathy says that you can use the same trick for the Z-Pack. Okay. Yeah. So, and people, you have to know, people have to know yourself too. Some people have allergies, to certain medications. And so that's something that be aware of a person's medical history. For example, penicillin, some people are allergic to that. Okay. 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 Let's see. Thank you. Can you tell us again where to find the list of what will help? Yeah. So flccc.net is the website. Hold on. I'm going to put it in the chat. And remember, when I spell out the link, you have to take the word dot out and put the period and then net. Okay. So Vicky says, I have a small coveted supply of prednisone from previous allergy script, hanging on to it for absolute emergency. Now, Vicky, one thing that I've heard some doctors say is that that is not indicated in the first like 7 days, that actually causes the virus to replicate. That the second phase, when the spike proteins start and when the body's immune system starts to turn on itself, that is when they're saying that the prednisone is indicated. Okay. Yeah, Millie just said it made things worse for her husband. So there's a doctor that one of my listeners told me about. He has a video on this where this is something that the protocol that's used by Dr. Corey. I think that he talks about that. So there's a so there's a timing issue with prednisone. This doctor that I'm going to tell you about, he talks about there's a different corticosteroid. There's a different steroid that is better for the first 7 days. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. JC. His name is Dr. Lindeque, Lindeque. He's South African. And let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. It's on YouTube. I'm going to find it right now. Can somebody look this up?
So Harry,
okay, this is on somebody's personal account. Okay, let's talk about COVID with Dr. Lindeque. Let me just put this in my notes and see if I can. I'm going to link this in my show notes. So he talks about his experience, and he talks specifically about about the timing of when to use what steroid. Okay, so that's important to know. All right. Quercetin is good for allergies for sure. You're using the Fairfax Doctor. Can you send me that link for that Fairfax Doctor? Okay. Yeah, so Millie is saying that the budesonide early for her family member was the key, was the ticket. And remember, that's in that nasal spray that we're talking about. If people who nebulize it find good results in the very beginning stages, if they can't get the nebulized version, then the nasal spray, the Rhinocort, that's budesonide. That is what a lot of people are having success with in the beginning. Okay. Hi, Kara. Okay. Jen, is there any way you can send that to me? What is it that you're asking for, Jen? Jen, send me send me a message on Facebook. All right. Kara, my schedule is all over the place right now just because of things that are going on here at the house. Okay. Oh, maybe you're not asking me. Okay. Let's see. Now, a friend of Millie's was doing badly, and the budesonide turned it all around. Yeah. So I think the budesonide gets the inflammation out of the lungs. That's what helps pull that phlegm, fluid, all that stickiness out of the lungs. That's what I think it does. But this doctor that I'm telling you about, Dr. Lindeque, he explains it. And he has a beautiful South African accent, so that's always nice. I'll take a South African accent over an Australian accent 10 days of the week. Dr. Crude, is that who you're talking about? All right. Oh, Delia has the Dr. Lindeck link. That's so awesome. Thank you. Kara, yeah. So my schedule is off right now, just because I'm I have work happening. I have a contractor that's coming in the afternoons. Hey, Vicky, can you send me that link in a direct message? Don't put it in the Facebook feed. It messes up my feed. Okay. Are we good here? Yeah, send it. So Vicky, send that link to me in a direct message. Ask Miss Olson. Okay, can you people are asking for links, but I'm not sure what they're asking for. So it's better if you can either share a link in my Telegram. If you're in my Telegram chat, you can share links there with other people, and you can go to my Telegram channel, Mary Grace Media Official. If you want to join my chat, you need to send me an email. It's info@marygracemedia.com, or opt into my mailing list on my website. So I'm getting confused about what is happening here. Somebody says, does the doctor recommend albuterol? I haven't seen them recommend that. How do you message me? You can message my page, send a message on Facebook, or you can email me, info@marygracemedia.com. How do you spell the doctor's name? His name is Dr. Lindeck, Lindeque. Link to the conversion. All right. Yeah. So Vicky on Facebook, the link to the conversion, that is what I wanted you. That link is in the Facebook feed. So if you could send it to me in a direct message, I'll put it in my Facebook page or in my Telegram page. I don't like having links in the Facebook feed because they censor my page when there's links in there. Okay. So whoever you sent the link to, can that person click on the link and then let you delete it? That would be great. Thank you. This is valuable information. Are you guys finding this to be valuable today? It's not my normal show that I do, but I feel like it's really important based on everything that's happening. It's really critical right now. Um, uh, okay, let's see. So Karen on YouTube is saying, got budesonide at CVS. Do we have another name for it? It's not what I asked for, but they said budesonide is the same thing. So Rhinocort is the brand name of what people are using. Okay. The nurse practitioner said use albuterol first and then budesonide if you're really bad off. We just used budesonide and did fine. Okay. All right. So you're finding this valuable. Okay, good. Good. Now, somebody told me in the comments from the other day that you can nebulize the budesonide that comes in the nasal spray tube or in the little that you can put it in a nebulizer. Now, I don't know how much is in that little tube, but so some people are saying that the nasal spray is highly effective, especially early on. Some people may feel like if that doesn't work, they can try to nebulize it. We're sort of like in uncharted territory here in some ways, guys, because we're having to take matters into our own hands. And again, to the extent that you can get in touch with a doctor who is willing to use these protocols, that is what I would do first. Okay. No, actually, the first thing I would do is take a dose of ivermectin while attempting to get a telemedicine appointment or an appointment with a doctor who is willing to treat you with this protocol. That's what I would do. Um, and, they may have a different scenario for your situation. For example, if you have higher risk factors, they may recommend some things that are not on the list that we've been talking about today. So just, I can't stress this enough. Use your best judgment. Pray, really seek God, make sure that you are seeking the medical care that you can get from the people that are willing to go there. If you can't, the things that we're talking about right now, um, the things that we're talking about right now are sort of worst case scenario. Okay, so just there's a lot of room here for people to need to use their own judgment. I can't stress that enough. Don't just take my word for it. This is, it comes down to we the people, knowing that we're at war, and it's important to take matters into your own hands. Now, um, somebody bought the Rite Aid brand of budesonide. It's the generic. Somebody bought the Equate brand. All right, so that's good. Um, Okay, Mary on YouTube says, "This is important. I never would have thought this would happen in America. I don't know how people are making it without Jesus." I know. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my plan is to use budesonide nasal spray at the first sign of anything like a scratchy throat, etc. Also may employ the peroxide ear wash. Yeah, I told you guys the other day about putting hydrogen peroxide in your ears. At the first sign of anything, like you're overtired, you feel like you're getting a scratchy throat, those sorts of things. Dr. Mercola said years ago that this is something that he does that is highly effective, is that you just put a cap full of peroxide in your ear, lie down, and let it just do, bubble and squeak and do whatever it does for however long until that stops, and then switch sides. It's about 10 or 15 minutes per ear. It's incredible what it does. It sort of like wards off whatever's coming almost immediately. So Jen on Facebook says, "I used chlorine dioxide and food grade hydrogen peroxide to cure my Lyme disease. Miracle stuff, very cheap." Oh, wow. Where's the protocol for that? Chlorine dioxide, that's something that gets a bad rap because the fake news would tell you that it's actually like chlorine bleach. It's not. If you understand chemistry, you understand that molecules, molecular structure can have similar names, but it looks very different when you look at the molecular structure. you know, just like H2O and H2O2, different things, right? Just by one molecule. All right. Uh, um, Jen, is that the name of it? The 1 minute cure? Is that something that's available online? We're crowdsourcing all kinds of information today. Okay. It's a book, The 1 minute cure. That's amazing. Okay. All right, I think we're going to call it quits here. This has been an incredibly productive show, I think. And one last chance. Any more questions? Uh, oh, atom. I thought it was a molecule. Oh, is a molecule a combination of atoms? Oh, you're right. Oxygen atom, hydrogen atom. Thank you, Delia. Okay, H2O2. Two hydrogen atoms, two oxygen atoms. Thank you. You used chlorine dioxide for COVID and it worked great. Where do you get it? Where do you get chlorine dioxide? Let's see. Oh, that's right. Dr. Mercola has information on nebulizing hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Regular peroxide in the ear. Yeah, like household, whatever you have in the house. Yeah. That you use, to pour on cuts and stuff. Yeah. I think food grade hydrogen peroxide would work too. You're getting the chlorine dioxide on Amazon or the book? Who's getting okay, so Jen, you're saying you got your chlorine dioxide through a church? Where are people getting chlorine dioxide? Millie is saying food grade peroxide is better for the nebulizer. Yeah, it could be. I'm just saying for the ears, just the household peroxide is that's what I have and it works. Okay. Uh Never use H regular H2O2 because of the stabilizers. Oh, okay, good to know. Um all right. So where are you getting chlorine dioxide? Where are we getting it? I know it's highly controversial and the FDA, the medical mafia hates it. It's sold as MMS. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to sign off here. KV Labs. Whew, we're all over the place here today. Okay. I think that's it. I mentioned in the beginning that one of the keys to maintaining your health is superfoods. If you haven't already looked at that, if you've been on superfoods and you took a break, time to get back on track because it's going to help you have a stable level of good health and nutrition. Send me an email, info@marygracemedia.com, to get a promo code so that you can save over $100 and you can have superfoods on hand. I can't stress that enough, especially as we go into winter in the Northern Hemisphere, that it's just so important to have the superfoods, to have a good nutritional foundation, and to get your body in an alkaline state. Um, Millie is saying use DuckDuckGo to search those things. Yeah, that's true. Uh, yeah. All right. I think that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what time. Thank you for your patience with all the timing of the show. Please make sure you share this. Make sure you share the show. Make sure you get it out to as many people as possible because the information that we're sharing today actually could help people save lives. And I'm not saying that lightly. I don't say that about every show that I do. Uh, but um, but this information today is highly valuable, and so I'm asking you to get this information out, share this, send the link to friends, family. We're on Cloud Hub. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Mary Grace Media. Um, let's see. Somebody said, "Oh, okay, yeah." So our Power Shake that we have, our Superfoods Power Shake, is incredible. Then it's all organic. The nutrients, a lot of the nutrients that you're needing to stay healthy are in that shake. It's a green fruit and vegetable shake that is live dehydrated. That is incredible. The nutrient panel of that shake is actually recommended by some cancer doctors just as really solid nutrition. Okay. So info@marygracemedia.com is where you're going to write to get that voucher and the information about what's in the food. Okay. Let's see. Oxidation therapies for holistic health on Facebook. Great group. Thank you. Oxidation therapies for holistic health. Yeah, Facebook is good for some things like that. All right, great show. Is there a reason your live chat can't be seen after the show? I don't know, Delia. Is it not available? There may be a setting. I had it set to where you could see the live chat after the show, but they may have changed it. That could have happened. So that could be what's going on. All right. Now, let's see. That Facebook group has lots of protocols, lots of files. Awesome. All right, let me just see. Let me get on here and see. Lots of files. Let me look. Guys, I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers on my YouTube. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me go back and look at one of my older shows. He is Delia, I'm looking at my show from Monday, and if I click on the live chat button, it's there. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Definitely interested in superfoods. Yeah, Mary on YouTube, send me a message. I'll give you the information. It's a great value. I mean, the one of the shakes, it's about $2.50 per shake, right? So you buy the whole pack so that you have a 30-day supply of 2 meal replacements. So definitely write to me, info@marygracemedia.com. It actually saves you money, saves you a lot of money. The chat doesn't show up for you guys. What? I'm going to show you. Look, this is my, on my YouTube. Hold on. Hold on. It shows it right here. Look. See, the button is right there. Live chat. See it? I don't know why you're not seeing it. It's strange. Okay. Don't know. Okay, guys. I've been on for over an hour and a half. I don't usually do that, but I'm going to go and I will be back tomorrow. So please share this information. I know it's been a long show, but I think that it's incredibly valuable information. Just send it to everybody that you can think of that would be willing to listen and just say, look, there's information here that could help you. And there's information that might help someone that you love. And just listen to it when you're in the house, in the car, doing dishes, whatever, but be ready to take some notes. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all of the people in the chats who have been giving us incredible information. Thank you for all the resources. Thank you to everybody who is helping and providing these resources. Jen on Facebook says Pure Health sells food grade H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. Okay. Very good information here today. Let's see. God bless you all. God bless America. Pray for our president. Pray for all of the people who are working at ground level to do these audits, for the people who are really coming forth as whistleblowers. Keep them in your prayers. Pray for the people in the medical systems to have courage to be whistleblowers and to take a stand against what they know is wrong. And for law enforcement, especially in Australia, to take a stand and to stop telling people that they're just doing their job. It's time for people to stand on principle and to stand on ethics and morals and not to be harming their fellow human beings just because it's their job. This is criminal what people are doing. And so we need to really pray that people have the information that they need and that people have the courage to take a stand and to stop committing crimes against humanity in the name of saving their job. We're so far beyond that, and we really need to pray for people to come forward and to continue having the courage to do it. So everybody have a great day. I will be back tomorrow, and thank you again for all your help. Thanks to the moderators, and thanks to everybody for being here today. Have a great evening, afternoon.